wherever you get your podcasts.
A desperate attempt in Utah to save a skier buried by an avalanche after major snowfall in the state. Rescuers used a chopper hoping to take the victim to safety, but were stopped by the rough terrain. The skier was later saved by first responders on the ground. And in the east, a possible nor'easter is moving up the coast, bringing with it snow, ice, and heavy rain from Virginia to Maine as another tornado touches down in the south. New warnings about a COVID surge heading into the holidays. Hospitals already overwhelmed with a triple threat of viruses, and now a new infection in children is on the rise. A brutal winter as Ukraine experiences sub-freezing temperatures and bitter wind chills. Millions are getting by without power or running water for hours at a time. Russia has used relentless missile strikes to attack the power grid, but many Ukrainians are trying to wait it out.
We don't care if it takes for us months, years without light, even in the middle of the winter.
The final episodes, Prince Harry and Duchess Meghan's docuseries, ends with a few bombshells, including allegations that Prince William screamed at his brother in front of the Queen and that the palace allegedly planted negative stories in the media. Pelosi in the House, a candid behind-the-scenes look at Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi from her first election to Congress through recent events, including the Capitol attack, all captured by her documentarian daughter, Alexandra Pelosi.
I think at the moment that the Capitol Police came in, they said, we're evacuating, was when we knew I had to film. Because when they took Nancy Pelosi out of the actual Congress, when they were taking her out, evacuating the building, she didn't even have her cell phone.
It's a story and soundtrack you likely know. Now it's being told in front of a live audience with an all-star cast and breaking ground by casting the award-winning singer Her as the first Black and Filipino person to portray Belle.
I know there's little girls out there who are going to be watching this and saying, I can be a Disney princess too, or I can feel beautiful, I can be confident and strong.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Lindsay Davis. Thank you so much for streaming with us. We begin tonight with a massive storm that delivered a string of deadly tornadoes and days of blizzard conditions, resulting in feet of snow in some places. Tonight, it's bringing icy rain and snow to the northeast and dangerous conditions on the roads. An ice storm snarling traffic in Somerset, Pennsylvania, and a major accident shut down the Pennsylvania Turnpike. And take a look at this heavy snow that blinded drivers in upstate New York. New York's governor is urging drivers to stay home and off the road, avoiding unnecessary travel if possible. This comes as we are getting new images tonight of the trail of destruction after more than 50 tornadoes in 6 states over 3 days. And then there's this terrifying scene in New Orleans as a tornado crossed an intersection with drivers on the road. The most powerful tornado was an EF3 with winds of 140 miles per hour in Farmerville, Louisiana. The twister devastated this neighborhood. And this powerful storm system is only strengthening now in the northeast as it develops into a nor'easter. Rob Marciano leads us off tonight with more on this sprawling system.
Tonight, that monster storm now impacting millions in the northeast with heavy snow and ice, creating treacherous travel conditions. This crash shutting down both sides of Interstate 76 in Somerset, Pennsylvania. Our Stephanie Ramos in Syracuse, New York.
Parts of New York and New England bracing for up to 2 feet of snow.
The same system spawning that deadly tornado outbreak. At least 52 reported tornadoes tearing through the south since Tuesday, killing at least 3 people.
Oh my God.
Incredible new video from New Iberia, Louisiana, showing 2 funnel clouds circling each other before combining into one tornado. This drone video showing the moment this tornado hit New Orleans Metro.
The tornado tearing through this neighborhood, lifting this home off its foundation and slamming it to the ground. The family actually inside while that was happening.
That family uninjured, but other parts of their block unrecognizable. Officials today saying it was an EF2 tornado with winds of over 110 miles per hour.
When the storm hit, I was cooking red beans.
Patricia Benvenuti losing the home she lived in for decades. She and her son riding out the tornado in the bathtub.
In your 50 years here, I mean, ever think something like this would happen?
Never, never, never. Everything's gone.
We certainly feel for her and all those impacted here. Rob Marciano joins us now. Rob, so many on high alert. What's in the forecast ahead?
Well, now it's the northeastern. Everybody's had a shot at this thing, Lindsay. What a storm it has been all week long, and it's run the gamut as far as impacts are concerned. And now here in the northeast, it's a cold, miserable rain for some of the bigger cities, and also a lot of snow and ice. So here's what the winter storm warnings and ice storm warnings look like. Yeah, ice storm warnings. It's piling up in parts of the Blue Ridge and the Shenandoah Valley there. That's very difficult driving conditions. Probably leads to some power outages, too. And the winter storm watches and warnings across northern New England. Some of those are going to last till Saturday because this thing is going to slow down. I mean, the center of the upper low is still over Minnesota, where parts of the upper Midwest continue to have blizzard warnings. That's got to catch up to the front before everything kicks out. Meantime, heavy rain up the I-95 corridor, Baltimore, through Philadelphia, up through Trenton, New York, and New Haven. Maybe even a little bit of sleet mixing in there, but the heavy snow is beginning to get heavy across northeastern Pennsylvania and upstate New York, and it will continue to be that way, I think, through tomorrow morning. The rush hour in the morning is going to be tough for just about everybody in the northeast, and the upper low comes over top of the front over the Atlantic, and we get a little nor'easter developing. And that's going to create some wind and kind of slow things down into Saturday before things begin to slowly clear out from west to east. But it's going to drop a lot of snow. I think 6 to 12 inches of snow across much of central New York, maybe is over a foot in some of the higher elevations. And, of course, the ice will accumulate in some of the areas across Appalachia. That's going to be a problem. And these are through Saturday afternoon. I don't think we really lose the entire impacts of this storm, finally, Lindsay, until Sunday. Unbelievable.
Yeah, hopefully people will take it slow on the roadways. Messy out there. Rob Marciano, our thanks to you. Now to the surge of viruses this winter season. Today, the White House unveiled a new COVID strategy with just 10 days to go until Christmas. And there's a new virus threat that's drawing some concern. ABC's Ariel Reshef has those details.
With that perfect storm of viruses straining so many hospitals across the country, the White House today unveiling its winter COVID plan.
The key is this: we don't want this winter to look like last winter or the winter before.
So the government is once again offering each household up to 4 free tests through its covidtest.gov website and telling people to get their flu and COVID shots ahead of the holidays. In San Diego County, Tristan Tamborelli was so sick with 2 strains of the flu, he had to be airlifted to the hospital. The 10-year-old, who has underlying health conditions, was put on a ventilator. 2 weeks later, he's still in the ICU.
I was scared that he wasn't going to make it.
Tristan hadn't yet received his flu shot when he got sick. His dad is urging other families to get vaccinated.
I'd hate to see anybody else have to go through this.
And tonight, the World Health Organization is tracking another threat, an uptick in rare but invasive strep A infections among children that can be life-threatening. Hospitals in at least 4 states are reporting an uptick in strep cases.
Ariel Reshef joins us now. And Ariel, those strep cases sound concerning. What are doctors saying the parents should look out for?
Well, Lindsay, doctors say that those deadly strep infections are extremely rare, but you should reach out to your child's pediatrician if your child has a sore throat for more than a couple of days, seems to be having trouble swallowing, has a fever, presenting a concerning rash, or just simply not acting like themselves. You know your child best. Lindsay.
Right, some good tips there. Ariel, thank you. Next, the former police officer found guilty of manslaughter in the shooting death of a Tatiana Jefferson in her Fort Worth home 3 years ago. The officer fired through a window and killed her as she was playing video games with her 8-year-old nephew. ABC News Chief Justice correspondent Pierre Thomas reports.
Tonight, a Texas police officer guilty of manslaughter in the killing of a Tatiana Jefferson, who was shot in her own Fort Worth, Texas home in a case tragic on so many levels.
Verdict reads, we, the jury, find the defendant, Aaron York Dean, guilty of the offense of manslaughter.
Aaron Dean, who resigned from the force amid the controversy, now faces up to 20 years in prison for the October 2019 incident. The case unfolding on Dean's body camera after a call to check on a residence with an open door just after 2:30 a.m. that autumn night. Dean taking the stand, claiming he thought it was a burglary in progress, and that he fired a shot into the residence through a window after he saw a figure with a gun.
When I saw the barrel of that gun pointed at me, I fired a single shot from my duty weapon.
But there was no burglary in progress. Jefferson's nephew tells a far more innocent story, that the door had been left open because they had burned hamburgers earlier in the night and that the two were up playing video games.
I just want you to remember it exactly the way you do. Do you remember if she had the gun up or down?
The boy saying Jefferson pulled her legally owned handgun from her purse, fearing a break-in, and that she never pointed it at the officer. Then the fatal shot. Jefferson was just 28 years old.
I heard her scream and saw her fall like this. And I knew that I'd shot that person.
Lindsay, the jury, while rejecting the more serious charge of murder, nonetheless found the officer's actions illegal, believing the prosecutor's claim that Dean, who never announced himself as a police officer, had acted recklessly. Lindsay?
Pierre, thank you. Thousands of migrants continue arriving to our nation's border daily, some coming not only from Central America, but South America as well. ABC's Matt Rivers is in El Paso tonight, where he continues to report on this global crisis that is coming to a boiling point in Texas.
Dozens of migrants in El Paso tonight relying on the kindness of strangers. Volunteers handing out blankets and warm clothes in freezing temperatures. Roughly 2,500 people illegally crossing into El Paso every day. And officials now predicting that number could double next week with the expiration of Title 42, the Trump-era health policy that allows authorities to quickly expel migrants.
It'll go up to about 5,000. You look at 5,000, that's 150,000 coming through in a single month.
Ana Patricia Matute and her 4-year-old daughter Peyton from Honduras, who arrived yesterday, now trying to get a bus to North Carolina.
It's the dream of everybody.
De toda persona
para venir a los Estados Unidos, to come to the U.S.
No es fácil.
It's not easy.
The system here stretched to the limit, shelters overflowing. In a memo obtained by ABC News, the Department of Homeland Security says they will construct temporary housing and double transportation routes to bring migrants to less crowded parts of the border. But officials in El Paso called those temporary solutions at best, with more and more migrants on the way.
If the whole border is already full, you can't take people from here. You can't rob Peter to pay Paul.
We're shuffling the deck. That's all we're doing. We're just moving from here to here. And eventually, if Title 42 goes away on December 21st, eventually everyone might be at capacity.
Those two little boys bundled up just kind of tugs at your heartstrings a bit. Matt Rivers joins us now from El Paso again. And Matt, officials there say that the number of migrants crossing into the U.S., that's expected to double next week. Has the Biden administration said anything about how they plan on handling this?
Well, Lindsay, the Biden administration acknowledges that the number of migrants coming here to the United States, like the ones behind me here in El Paso, will go up soon. And they say they'll release more details on their plan on how to deal with all that early next week. But they also said that they're calling on Democrats and Republicans alike to pass comprehensive immigration reform, something, Lindsay, that Congress has not managed to do in decades.
Matt Rivers, our thanks to you as always. Next to the latest royal drama after new episodes dropped in the Harry and Meghan docuseries. This time, Prince Harry is making direct accusations against his brother. ABC's James Longman has the latest from London.
Tonight, Harry and Meghan getting personal.
The issue is when someone who's marrying in, who should be a supporting act, is then stealing the limelight or is doing the job better than the person who was born to do this. That upsets people. It shifts the balance.
In the final parts of their Netflix series, the couple allege they were bullied out of the royal family because others were jealous of their popularity. They allege William and Kate's aides planted negative stories about them in the press.
And to see my brother's office copy the very same thing that we promised the two of us would never, ever do, that was heartbreaking.
Meghan says it took a heavy toll.
It's like, all of this will stop if I'm not here.
Harry describing that heated palace showdown to discuss the couple's departure with the late Queen Elizabeth, King Charles, and his brother William.
It was terrifying to have my brother scream and shout at me and my father say things that just simply weren't true, and my grandmother, quietly sit there and sort of take it all in.
Accusing the palace of shaping the narrative.
They were happy to lie to protect my brother. And yet, for 3 years, they were never willing to tell the truth to protect us.
No official comment from the palace, but tonight one former royal aide is pushing back.
It would damage the institution and it would be wrong and the Queen would not sanction it.
Harry clearly struggling with his new normal, a happy life with his wife and children, but now likely irreparably separated from his family.
It never needed to be this way.
Our thanks to James Longman. ABC News Royals contributor Imogen Weber joins us now to take a closer look. Imogen, thanks for joining us tonight. Harry talks about a fight between his brother and his father, saying that there was jealousy over the public's initial love for him and Meghan. Do you think that that really played a significant role in the family's rift?
I mean, it's been an extraordinary day, and I think I just feel empathy for all involved. One of the reasons we're so fascinated by the royal family is that they're historically consequential, but they're also a family, so they're therefore relatable. And I think there's just such sadness today that all that collective joy we experienced from that wedding, which was less than 4 years ago, where William was best man, Charles was walking Meghan down the aisle, that seems to have evaporated. And it really does seem that the brothers' relationship has disintegrated. And that would be the one thing that Diana really would never have wanted for her boys. We shall see what's in that book that's coming out, Spare, at the beginning of January.
Prince Harry heavily implies the palace offered up stories about him and Meghan in order to squash stories about other royals, in particular his brother. Does this sort of thing traditionally happen?
I think here's the thing. British royals are not celebrities. They're public servants. They survive because of British public opinion. So they need the British press. They brief them. So I think on some levels, those briefings, leakings, and there's already a lot of nitpicking going on, probably did occur. But at the same time, on some levels, that's the deal that the royals sort of have to make because they are public servants. They are public property on some levels.
Prince Harry blames the Daily Mail for Meghan's miscarriage, and the couple raises a lot of concerns about the tabloid tactics. Do you think that that will lead to any changes, perhaps, in how the royals interact with the British press?
I think at the end of the day, Harry and Meghan at the moment, they need the American media, right? They need the American media on side. The British royals, they need the British media on side. I'm not sure how much will change. And I think overall, we can all have massive empathy for Harry and Meghan. I think you can't not watching this documentary. But at the same time, I do wonder if fundamentally it's not the press that are the biggest winners here. It's not the family, it's the press. We're talking about them. We're talking about their private lives again. And how healthy will that be for everybody moving forward? Who knows?
Buckingham Palace has said that they have no comment on the latest 3 episodes. But do you think that now that Harry and Meghan's perspective is all out there on the table, is there any indication at all that the palace might have some regrets?
The royals' mantra really is never complain, never explain. We may hear some more coming out in subsequent months, years, and so forth. But at the same time, the Windsors, the royal family, they have their eye on history, right? They're a 1,000-year institution. And they know, they know that surviving by that mantra has always worked for them in the past. It means that the British public can project onto them what they want. So silence on some levels, being a figurehead, being slightly more silent figureheads, tends to work for the family. And I can't see that fundamentally changing.
Never complain, never explain. Really fascinating family there. I'm curious, and this is kind of a crystal ball question. Do you think that the royal family might be able to hear each other's concerns and ultimately move past this deep rift?
We would hope so. It was very interesting when King Charles gave his first ever speech as king, and he mentioned Harry and Meghan finding their new life in America. So the door was made clear that it was open there, and they were obviously a huge part of the Queen's funeral. I think the big question mark for everybody now is what is in Prince Harry's book at the beginning of January, and is that then a clean slate for Meghan and Harry?
All right, Imogen Weber, we thank you so much for your perspective and insight. Thank you.
Thank you.
When we come back, the horrifying video of the Delta worker guiding a plane to the gate when she gets hit from behind by a truck. ABC News exclusive, Michael Strahan sits down with a survivor of a shooting last month that left 3 University of Virginia football players dead. You'll hear the story the young man says he needs to share. But up next, life in a war zone is hard enough, but imagine it in the dead of winter in some of the colder parts of the world. Coming up, our in-depth look at winter and war in Ukraine and how people there are struggling to endure both. This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers
In Putin's Russia.
On the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.
Here at the White House. Destructive Cat 4 storm.
Here along I-5. Boston is in the bullseye.
Let's go. We made it.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7, straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
Bring them on.
If only there was a place in the morning to start my day. With a smile, somewhere to help me get in the know. A place as spectacular as, well, me.
I think we might know a place, right, guys?
Bring your friends. Oh, wait, there is.
Good morning, America.
GMA, 7A, every day. Boom, boom, boom. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning, Robin. Good morning, America. How are you?
Boom. Now that's how you start your day, people.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you?
Can I hug you?
Yes.
So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do?
Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 12 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
With so much at stake, so much on the line, more Americans turn here than any other newscast. ABC News World News Tonight with David Muir, America's #1 most watched newscast across all of television.
As of today, in a big way, we have inaugurated abcnews.com.
A lot has changed in our world since Peter made that announcement. But what hasn't changed is the commitment to groundbreaking reporting and innovation at abcnews.com. And here's to everything ahead.
Just a terrifying end to a thrill ride. 2 teenage boys had to be rescued from a slingshot attraction in London after one of the cords apparently malfunctioned. Witnesses say they heard the 2 people on it screaming for help as they were hanging in the air. Officials say the riders were removed safely and not hurt. Investigators are blaming a technical issue. The days are short and the nights are long with sub-zero temperatures, and for hours on end there is little to no power. This is life in Ukraine under the shadow of Russia's war there and repeated bombardment of cities and key power infrastructure. But tonight the brave, resilient people there continue to live their lives as they hope for a better and warmer tomorrow. Inez de la Quatara files this in-depth report from Ukraine.
There's a touch of magic in this music school. As in most of Ukraine, darkness permeates its halls. Yet burning embers of hope have still found a way to shine through. 10-year-old Ruth Gorshkova uses music to help her forget about Russia's war in her country. The brutal conflict now roughly 10 months long. The only light she has to play by is from a flashlight. But she still goes to her lessons. Her own small way of standing up to the Russians.
Do you want to leave? No. With no lights, I have a light in my heart.
Winter. It is particularly brutal in Ukraine, with biting winds and sub-freezing temperatures. Russia has been weaponizing the year's coldest season, zeroing in on Ukraine's critical infrastructure over the last 2 months. Relentless missile strikes have halved the country's power capacity. Now millions of Ukrainians are experiencing shortages of power and running water, some for more than 12 hours a day. Officials say these blackouts could last until at least March. At night, buses and cars navigate dimly lit streets, and customers must shop with only the glow of their phones to guide them. Residents like Maxim Kondratovich have been forced to camp out in their own homes, boiling water with a kerosene stove, stocking up on camping equipment in preparation for longer blackouts.
You're really prepared.
Yeah, that's how we live.
That's how you live now, yeah.
Yeah.
Even the children of Ukraine are being tested.
We don't care if it take for us months, years without light, even in the middle of the winter. And it's like our spirit to continue to go on, and it's like our sacrifice.
Aid groups are scrambling to provide blankets, generators, and medical supplies, with reports of surgeries being done in the dark.
This right here is the new front in this war. These crews working overtime to keep the power going through winter, and over here, their truck even struck by bullets.
One person died, 2 more were injured, the equipment burned down. But you see, our work was risky even before the war. We work as we have been working before dealing with emergencies, but that was for the short time, and now it is every day.
The lack of heat, power, and water has led Ukrainian officials to urge evacuations in the southern Kherson and Mykolaiv regions. Teams of volunteers urgently working to get the elderly and disabled to safety. 72-year-old Larissa lives with the constant sound of shelling. She pays little attention, instead focusing on her garden. But with the looming threat of airstrikes and further power outages, she's decided she can no longer hold out. Larissa evacuating her home of 25 years, but it's not the furniture pieces or memories she's leaving behind that seem to pain her most. After volunteers help her into this white passenger van, she and 2 others will soon be taken to a waiting train bound away from the horror of falling bombs, but also far from the comfort of home. For the ones that do stay, it is critical that aid gets in.
We go with the social workers and bring them this food basket.
So today there's 15 people total that you're going to see.
Yeah.
And every day it's different numbers.
Yeah.
We follow them to see 67-year-old Ludmila and her 90-year-old mother, Isabella, who are dependent on these deliveries to survive.
It's scary, terrifying, especially for my mother. It's the second war she's living through.
But even in the darkest of days, Ukrainians still remain defiant. Valentina is a former teacher determined to stay put for as long as possible, singing to keep her hopes up.
The simple truth about the love she brings to me. Where do I start? I love to sing very much.
She still goes about her daily life, cooking and listening to the radio, but she's always aware of just how dangerous her situation is. She keeps a bag packed with essentials, a passport, her valuables, gauze, and her favorite poem.
What should I do? I will be sitting, yes, and crying, yes. No, I will be fighting.
Even though Ukraine may be in the middle of a seemingly never-ending winter of darkness, no war can extinguish the fire burning deep inside the resilient people here who bravely push on, hoping brighter days will return. Famous Ukrainian poet Lesia Ukrainka wrote, "I am alive, I'll live eternally, I have that in my heart which cannot die."
That fighting spirit, our thanks to Inez for that. Still ahead here on Prime, could Congress actually pass legislation banning TikTok? The major Trump announcement that had some people online cringing. And is Elon Musk hurting Tesla financially by his efforts to prop up Twitter? We take a look by the numbers. But first, our tweet of the day. News from Harvard after they hired their first black female president and only the second woman to ever lead the institution.
So much at stake, so much on the line, more Americans turn here than any other newscast. ABC News World News Tonight with David Muir, America's #1 most watched newscast across all of television.
This is where I belong. This is home. Real dirt in the sunlight again. I'm very excited. Anything could happen at any moment. My heart is so happy right now.
We're making magic.
We're making magic.
With so much at stake in our world right now, we wanted to thank you for your trust and for making ABC News America's #1 news.
And thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
The website fully crashed.
A nightmare.
So what went wrong?
Everything.
When you hear the name Ye or Kanye West, how do you guys react? Is Ye an anti-Semite?
Nobody crawls into a barrel and shoots themselves in the head. That's a mob hit.
I wanted a little cushion for the cushion. If you get queasy, close your eyes right now.
Catch the holiday Impact by Nightline binge block, streaming on ABC News Live and stream anytime on Hulu.
Zoo! 200! Oh, 200.
200 episodes of Dr. Pol. Music to my ears.
It's been 10 years, and I'm still having fun.
That rocks. He's got the moves that make your animals groove.
Now we do the dance of joy. Yay! He's like the Justin Bieber of the
Headlining the hottest barns.
Cut out.
It's a show you won't want to miss.
I'm not going to be here forever. Maybe.
The Incredible Dr. Pol. New episodes Saturdays at 9 on Nat Geo Wild.
This is ABC News Live Prime.
Thanks so much for streaming with us.
Live reporting, breaking news, exclusives, award-winning, powerful, eye-opening. ABC News Live Prime with Lindsay Davis, streaming weeknights. So, what's good to read? And we mean really good to read right now. Well, that's where Charlie and Kate Gibson can help.
Join us for the new podcast series. It is called The Bookcase with Kate and Charlie.
We will make sure you love what you read.
Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back, everyone. Tesla CEO Elon Musk is unloading Tesla stock following his recent purchase of Twitter, and that's raising some concerns from Tesla investors about how he's using his time and money. Let's take a look by the numbers. Musk purchased Twitter for $44 billion, you'll remember, in late October, with the company taking on $13 billion in debt in the process. And Musk is now devoting much of his time to trying to turn the social media company around. Meanwhile, Musk has sold some $23 billion worth of Tesla stock this year alone, much of it after his pledge back in April that he would stop selling shares to finance his Twitter purchase. Musk unloaded $3.6 billion of Tesla stock this week alone, according to SEC filings, totaling some 22 million shares of the electric vehicle company. That's left investors in Tesla frustrated, as the company has lost about 60% of its value since its peak last year, when the company was worth more than $1 trillion. It's now dipped below $500 million for the first time in 2 years, and the Tesla stock price that peaked at more than $400 a share in January is now down to around $158. With much of Musk's personal wealth tied up in his Tesla stock, his net worth has now fallen to $160 billion, dropping a whopping $100 billion from last year. And as of this week, Musk is now the #2 on the Bloomberg Billionaires Index, behind European mogul Bernard Arnault, who now holds the title as the world's richest person. And we still have lots to get to here on Prime tonight. Our conversation with Alexandra Pelosi, whose new film shows us incredible glimpses of what life was like in recent years for the Speaker of the House. We also ask her about her father, who was brutally attacked. And we're tracking the latest in the mega stallion Tory Lanez trial and Beauty and the Beast like we've never seen it before. But first, we'll look at our top trending stories on abcnews.com.
So much happening these days, it's hard to keep up.
Things change hour by hour, minute by minute.
The historic weather that's now unfolding.
The worries on Wall Street.
We're bringing you the Right Now. Been a nationwide teacher shortage.
The Right Now look at the day ahead. An alert this morning for dog owners and the key takeaways from the biggest stories.
World News Now and America This Morning, America's #1 early morning news.
Today does feel a little different. Early mornings on ABC News Live.
This is where I belong. This is home. Real dirt in the sunlight again. I'm very excited. Anything could happen at any moment. My heart is so happy right now.
We're making magic.
We're making magic.
So what went wrong?
Everything.
When you hear the name Ye or Kanye West, how do you guys react? Is Ye an anti-Semite?
Nobody crawls into a barrel and shoots themselves in the head. That's a mob hit.
I wanted a little cushion for the cushion. If you get queasy, close your eyes right now.
Catch the holiday Impact by Nightline binge block, streaming on ABC News Live and stream anytime on Hulu.
Get ready, America, every Friday.
The hottest trends, styles, and must-have. What's the right stuff to buy right now? I really love that. It's time to buy the right stuff.
Yes!
And save big time, too.
The right stuff.
Fridays on GMA. You're going to love it.
Now streaming on ABC News Live 2020. True crime, cinematic, real-life drama, stunning, the unthinkable. Follow the clues. The Hunt. True crime 2020. Now streaming on ABC News Live.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you? Yeah.
So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do?
Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 12 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
The big cleanup has begun across the South. At least 54 tornadoes reported since Tuesday morning from Texas to Florida.
Terrible. I mean, nothing. I have nothing.
And the destruction is widespread. An entire line of homes damaged in Farmerville.
And all we could do was just pray. It was very devastating.
At least 3 people reported dead in Louisiana, including 56-year-old Allison Alexander, and thousands left without power. In Mississippi, this mobile home community wiped out. The same massive storm system bringing feet of snow to some parts of the Great Plains and Midwest. In Duluth, Minnesota, people digging out and plows trying to clear the streets. In Utah, new images show the moment a skier hit by an avalanche was rescued from the snow.
There's no peace in the death of a child by a weapon of war.
On Capitol Hill, a House hearing on gun violence. Lawmakers heard from doctors, parents, and survivors in the wake of the Uvalde school shooting. Witness Faith Mata lost her 10-year-old sister Tess in the massacre.
Tess will never get to experience the life we had prayed she would live. She will never graduate high school, never fall in love herself, never be present at my wedding. And we will never know how scared she was in her last moments in that classroom.
Lawmakers are looking for bipartisan solutions, including tougher gun laws and funding for mental health programs.
Continued testimony in the trial of music artist Tory Lanez, accused of shooting fellow musician Megan Thee Stallion in the foot. Megan's once close friend and assistant Kelsey Harris, who was with her the night of the shooting in 2020, took the stand yet again, resuming her testimony from yesterday. Despite Harris being at the scene of the crime and prosecutors saying she texted someone saying Tory shot Megan, Harris said she actually doesn't know who shot Megan and that she was told by Megan's team that she stepped on glass. She also said she doesn't remember anything in relation to Tory from that night. Yesterday, Harris claimed she lied in prior interviews and accused Tory of offering both her and Megan $1 million. Tory has pleaded not guilty to all charges.
A scare on the tarmac at Hartsfield-Jackson Airport in Atlanta. A warning, the video is graphic. Video shows a Delta employee guiding a plane to the gate when she's hit from behind by a service truck. The driver telling police he was looking at his tablet and not paying attention to where he was going. The victim is expected to recover.
Iowa's Governor Reynolds is banning TikTok from being installed on state-owned devices and from state agencies creating accounts. Governor Reynolds' order follows closely with bans from other Republican governors, including Alabama, Maryland, Oklahoma, South Dakota, Texas, and Utah. This as the Senate passed a bill to ban federal employees from using TikTok on government-owned devices due to national security concerns. But the Chinese-owned company insists the concerns are unfounded. The bill now heads to the House.
Well, former President Trump is entering the NFT business. The former president announced on social media, his social media platform, the debut of his official digital trading card collection. He billed it as a major announcement today. He says the cards showcase his life and career, but the featured artwork also includes him as a superhero, an astronaut, a cowboy, and others. Each card is $99 and is an NFT or non-fungible token, which is a digital collectible.
Welcome back, everyone. Now to the interview with the survivor of the shooting last month that left 3 University of Virginia football players dead. Michael Hollins Jr. is still recovering from being shot in the back, but says that he has a story that he needs to share. When shots rang out on the team bus, he ran, but then he went back in an attempt to help others to safety. That's when he came face to face with the shooter. ABC's Michael Strahan has this story.
So I knew in that moment that God had his hand on my life. It just felt so surreal, knowing I'm in the middle of, UVA campus, a place where I felt really safe before.
University of Virginia football player Michael Hollins Jr. speaking out after surviving a shooting that killed 3 of his teammates and injured another student. A fellow student is charged with opening fire inside a bus as the group returned to campus from a field trip last month.
When did you realize something was wrong?
Once I got up and the bus was stopping is when the gunshots, started ringing out. In that moment, I knew we had to, get off that bus because it could get a lot worse. Me and another teammate were the only 2 to get off the bus. Mm-hmm. And I turned back and I look over my shoulder and I realized, we're the only 2 running. I didn't really think much in that moment. It was just literally an instinct and a reaction to go back.
You say you were 3 or 4 steps on the bus.
Yeah.
You see him coming off the bus.
Yeah, and he was just so close, and I felt so hopeless and so powerless in that moment.
Did he say anything?
Nothing at all. We locked eyes, and that was it. It was just a cold look. It was, I don't know, it was just like a numb look. And, in that moment, I just dropped everything and took off running. I felt him hit me in my back, but I knew I wasn't going down without a fight, and I found a pre-med student. And that was God again. She was there to help me. She kept me calm, kept my breathing under control, was checking my pulse and until the ambulance came.
Christopher Parnell Jones Jr. was charged with the shooting. How well did you know him?
I didn't know him. I didn't know him at all.
At all?
I had saw him that morning before we got on the bus.
And what was his demeanor when you saw him that morning?
He was looking normal to me.
And Deshaun Perry, Devin Chandler, Lavelle Davis Jr., they were your teammates.
They were.
And they were all killed in the shooting. When did you find out that they didn't make it off the bus?
I found out 2 days later. I found out because I went straight to surgery because I think I got hit in the small intestines, kidney, and they were trying to see if it damaged my bladder. By the grace of God, it missed my spine by, I think, 2 centimeters or something like that.
What was it like when you found out they didn't survive?
I've never cried like that before. I lost a brother that day. I loved Lavelle with all my heart, loved Devin with all my heart, but Deshaun, it was different with him. It was, man, that was my brother. So it was tragic hearing that he was gone.
And if you could say something to the shooter, what would you say to him?
I just would love to ask if he knew the magnitude of his actions in the moment. Like if he ever thought how many people will be affected for the rest of their lives.
And how has this whole thing changed you?
It's just, I've never been as, like I said, vulnerable or emotional. But now it's just like, I don't really care. I can't control it. I'm not afraid to, tell my friends or my teammates, I love you, looking forward to seeing you again and really meaning it now.
I got to say, even sitting here now and listening to your story, and the way you're composed about it is just mind-blowing to me.
I'm doing it for, my brothers I lost.
It's like the same responsibility you felt that made you turn around is the same responsibility that you feel to tell your story.
Right. I'm still doing it for the people I love, for the people that were on that bus, and everything I do from here on will be, in their name and their light, and I just want to do as much as I can to keep their flame lit.
Our thanks to Michael Strahan for that. In her 14th documentary film for HBO, Pelosi in the House, acclaimed documentarian Alexandra Pelosi offers a candid, behind-the-scenes look at the life of her mother and Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, including the January 6th Capitol attack. Let's take a look.
Look at the protesters outside the Capitol. Oh my God, how did that guy get up there? Are there clothes, snatch, and water? Yes, yes, ma'am.
Mr. Vice President, don't let anybody know where you are. We always knew that this responsibility would take us into the night. We'll stay as long as it takes.
Joining us now is filmmaker Alexandra Pelosi. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You can just tell. It's just so riveting, even just in that little snippet right there. First, before we get to the movie, let me just ask, how's your dad doing?
Well, every day is, it's up and down. Yesterday, he went to the portrait unveiling for my mother. That was a great victory for the family, that he gets out sometimes. But it's a long term. It's going to take a long time for him to get better. But, it's nice to see him when they're big events that he gets to participate in. We're happy that he gets to get out, so.
When we look at your mom, when did you decide this is the moment to do this project?
4.5 years ago, I walked up to my editor in the cafeteria. It was before the 2018 election, before she became Speaker the second time. I said to him, it's about time you got into my library. You should go look, because I have a lot of good footage over the years. And if she loses this election, then she'll be put out to pasture, then we could air a film. It was always that was always the thought going into it.
But things certainly got interesting on January 6th. You happen to be in the Capitol that day. We see you when you're looking outside and saying, oh, look at all those protesters. When did you know this is no ordinary protest?
Well, my son called it. You see a teenage boy looking out the window. That was my son. He kept saying, what if they storm the Capitol? And nobody was paying attention because everyone just assumed they were going to behave. I think at the moment that the Capitol Police came in, they said, we're evacuating, was when we knew I had to film. Because when they took Nancy Pelosi out of the actual Congress, when they were taking her out, evacuating the building, I figured it was my responsibility to document what was happening, all the phone calls that she was making and everything that was going on. Because what ended up happening was she worked with the leaders of the House and the Senate and with the Vice President to coordinate bringing the entire Congress to an Army base to finish the job or go back to the Capitol. Which were they going to do? So there was a real historic event unfolding, and so that's why I was filming the whole time.
And in that moment, did you realize how historic it would likely be?
Well, my mother really treats the Capitol like it's sacred ground. So I knew when we had to be evacuated that something was very serious. As we saw what was going on live television, we knew how bad it was getting. The question was, were they going to be able to fulfill the obligation that, that was written into the Constitution of certifying the election results that night? That was the big question. That was the history that was being made that day of how they were going to resolve the problem. And luckily, they all worked together and made it happen.
And were you fearful? Because, not just being there in that intense situation at the moment, but also you have your back to the action because you're focused on your mom.
Right. The Capitol Police told us after that we were 2 minutes away from our own execution. And that the timestamp on my iPhone versus, the security camera in the Capitol, we didn't know how close we came.
I want to go to a particular point in the documentary where you talk about you're impossible to crack, right? And you're talking to your mom, and we just want to look at this personal moment that you have with her.
You are impossible to crack. You're always on message. How do you do it? How do you always stay on all the time? You're impossible to crack. You know that.
Yeah. Well, I have my sensitivities.
What does that mean?
It means I have to be sensitive to the impact of my words on certain other campaigns.
You know, if I'm saying I can smell success, it means I can smell lack of success as well.
What were you able to learn about your mom that maybe you didn't know before starting this?
I think a lot of people think that politicians are like cartoon characters, or like they're caricatures, that they just behave one way in, you know, when they're out there. That's who she is. That's in her DNA. She doesn't go home and, you know, just unplug and start going off message. You know, she's always on message. It's like the DNA is the you know, all the Democratic Party talking points are just in her DNA. If that makes sense to you.
It totally does. What might surprise us about your mom?
She's very funny, don't you think?
Oh, I think she's funny. I think that's not a surprise. I think we see that.
I didn't make this so that people could get to Nancy Pelosi, because I know half the country hates her. So I'm not trying to change anyone's opinions. I'm trying to give a civics lesson about what the speaker is, what she does all day, how you pass a bill. Because she counts votes and she shows you how a bill becomes a law. I'm hoping that this will serve as sort of an education of how Congress works.
What do you think the lasting impact of your mom will be as far as women in politics?
Well, I hope that many women will follow in her footsteps. Although, after what happened to my father, I'm not sure I would encourage any woman I know to ever go into politics. You know, my mother thinks public service is a noble calling. She says, you know, people serving in Congress. She said yesterday at her portrait unveiling that every one of you here is a gift. Even the Republicans, even Kevin McCarthy sitting there, you are a gift to democracy. And I don't feel that way about public life. I just feel like it's been so destroyed with the toxic media environment. I have teenage kids and they have iPhones and they get these news alerts about, like, this guy wanted to hang Nancy Pelosi from a lamppost. We're so used to this kind of conversation that I think it's really hard to make peace with. She thinks it's public service and she thinks it's very noble, and we think of it as, you know, just really, really scary, toxic, you know, threatening. The day she stepped down was the best day of my life. I felt like I had just lost 100 pounds. It was just like I felt liberated, like I felt like because everything you say can and will be weaponized. You know, so even as the daughter, if you say something, oh, Pelosi's daughter says this, you aren't your own person, even at the age of 52. You have to be so careful every word that comes out of your mouth, because everything you say can and will be used against the person in office. So it's just the game they're playing these days.
So you don't use your words, you just use your videos to tell the story. Alexandra Pelosi, thanks so much for you coming on, and we want our viewers to know that Pelosi in the House, I love the name, by the way, Pelosi in the House is now available to stream on HBO Max. Now, the beloved Disney classic Beauty and the Beast is coming back to our screens for a reimagined, part live, part animated 2-hour special. ABC's Zareen Shah sat down with the cast, getting a personal tour of the massive soundstage.
Tale as old as time. It's a tale as old as time. Beauty and the Beast and all of our favorite characters back on our screens. Part animation and part live in front of a studio audience with all of the Disney magic in tow. In the set right now.
In the world. Yeah, already there's candelabras everywhere. It's a big soundstage, and they've made a really, really big but versatile setup here, as you'll be able to see. With use of projections, they're able to turn these pillars and walls and archways into any part of the movie they want it to be. So when I walk in, I know, you know, I don't know what to expect until I see what they've projection mapped onto the walls.
The Disney classic also bringing a new belle to the ball. Singer and songwriter Gabby Wilson, also known by her stage name, Her.
Tale as old as time.
You were the first Black and Filipina person to portray Belle. What does that representation mean to you?
It's amazing because, you know, there weren't many or any princesses that look like me. So I know there's little girls out there who are going to be watching this and saying, I can be a Disney princess too, or I can feel beautiful, I can be confident and strong, I can dream, and that's really what it comes down to.
Joining the cast with a new look, Shania Twain as Mrs. Potts.
Cheer up, child.
This is a fantasy world and huge honor as well. I'm just really excited. I feel like a kid again. It's fabulous.
And two comedic faves, Martin Short and David Alan Grier, inviting us to be their guest as they take on the roles of Lumiere and Cogsworth. What is the dress-up part like?
I have an elaborate wig with candles in it. That takes an hour, and then costume, I think, 40 minutes or something.
I love Martin Short to death.
and it's hard not to fan over him every day. And I love Be Our Guest because it's mostly him singing and working, and I just watch.
But overall, the cast is looking forward to viewers sitting back and taking it all in.
I don't know if I want anybody to have any expectations of it. I want people to be in the moment with me and to find their own Disney princess, you know, within themselves.
It will be a bonding experience. I would just say let it take you away and let it bond you as the timeless story that it is.
I'm very honored for the challenge. It's a piece of film and music history that we're all so thrilled. Our inner child are just freaking out to tell this story and to give it to new audiences.
All of our inner children excited to see that. Our thanks to Zoreen. Before we go tonight, the image of the day. Now, this actually happened last week, but the image has been making the rounds today after the Arizona Department of Public Safety tweeted it out. It's a suspicious-looking passenger in the passenger seat of a car being driven in the HOV lane. After being pulled over, police confirmed that it, in fact, was no passenger at all, but an inflatable Grinch. 'Tis the season. That's our show for this hour. Be sure to stay tuned to ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. Thanks so much for streaming with us. We're staying on top of a few things, including the stiff sentences handed down in the plot to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, plus the dramatic images from space showing a leak in the Russian Soyuz capsule that's docked with the International Space Station right before a spacewalk was set to take place.
With so much at stake in our world right now, we wanted to thank you for your trust and for making ABC News America's #1 news.
And thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
After an extraordinary news-making year, thank you for making ABC's This Week America's #1 news and politics show on Sunday mornings.
You never know what you're going to get on this show. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Yes, Whoopi! Is this mic on? Can you hear me out there?
Behind the scenes is always a better show.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's what people don't see during the commercial break.
Right, they don't.
What happened?
I had no idea really what I was getting myself into. That day that we walked out, I treasured that day. I couldn't sit there.
You're doing good, Joy. You're doing good. Oh, yeah, baby.
It was crazy.
Behind the Table. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
From America's #1 news source comes the all-new ABC News app. Breaking news, incredible video, faster, smarter. And it can customize to you and your interests. If you love being in the know, you're gonna love this. Experience what all the buzz is about. Experience the all-new ABC News app. Download it now. We're honored ABC's 2020 winner of 3 Emmy Awards for Excellence. Thank you for making 2020 Friday night's most watched and most honored news magazine.
This is where I belong. This is home. Real dirt in the sunlight again. I'm very excited. Anything could happen at any moment. My heart is so happy right now. We're making magic. We're making magic.
Hey there, I'm Lindsay Davis. Thanks so much for streaming with us. We're monitoring several developments here at ABC News at this hour. 3 men were handed down stiff sentences for their roles in the kidnapping plot against Michigan Governor Whitmer. They face between 7 and 12 years in prison for supporting a terrorist act and other crimes. Prosecutors say they all belong to a paramilitary group and trained at a property where 2 of the men lived. They were allegedly upset over the governor's COVID rules. Take a look at these unbelievable images showing the crash of an F-35B fighter jet in Fort Worth, Texas. The pilot attempted a vertical landing at the naval base, but the aircraft was out of control. Fortunately, the pilot was able to safely eject from the jet. And we have some really good news here. In an update, Jane Fonda says her oncologist told her that her cancer is in remission and that she can discontinue chemotherapy. In a statement titled Best Birthday Present Ever, the actress, activist, and former model said she feels blessed and fortunate. Earlier this year, she was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. A dangerous storm is threatening the Northeast, bringing heavy snow, ice, and rain. Ice has already crippled highways. A major crash shut down the Pennsylvania Turnpike. Heavy snow blinded drivers in Bath, New York, making driving treacherous on Interstate 86. There have been more than 50 reported tornadoes across 6 states, the most powerful in EF3 in Farmerville, Louisiana, with winds up to 140 miles an hour. They destroyed a neighborhood there. Senior meteorologist Rob Marciano is tracking the storm and where it's heading next.
Tonight, that monster storm now impacting millions in the Northeast with heavy snow and ice, creating treacherous travel conditions. This crash shutting down both sides of Interstate 76 in Somerset, Pennsylvania. Our Stephanie Ramos in Syracuse, New York.
Parts of New York and New England bracing for up to 2 feet of snow.
The same system spawning that deadly tornado outbreak. At least 52 reported tornadoes tearing through the South since Tuesday, killing at least 3 people.
Oh my God.
Incredible new video from New Iberia, Louisiana, showing 2 funnel clouds circling each other before combining into one tornado. This drone video showing the moment this tornado hit New Orleans Metro. The tornado tearing through this neighborhood, lifting this home off its foundation and slamming it to the ground. The family actually inside while that was happening. That family uninjured, but other parts of their block unrecognizable. Officials today saying it was an EF2 tornado with winds of over 110 miles per hour.
When the storm hit, I was cooking red beans.
Patricia Benvenuti losing the home she lived in for decades. She and her son riding out the tornado in the bathtub.
In your 50 years here, I mean, ever think something like this would happen?
Never, never, never. Everything's gone.
We certainly feel for her and all those impacted here. Rob Marciano joins us now. Rob, so many on high alert. What's in the forecast ahead?
Well, now it's the Northeastern. Everybody's had a shot at this thing. Lindsay, what a storm it has been all week long, and it's run the gamut as far as impacts are concerned. And now here in the Northeast, it's a cold, miserable rain for some of the bigger cities and also a lot of snow and ice. So here's what the winter storm warnings and ice storm warnings look like. Yeah, ice storm warnings. It's piling up in parts of the Blue Ridge and the Shenandoah Valley there. That's very difficult driving conditions. Probably leads to some power outages, too. And the winter storm watches and warnings across northern New England. Some of those are going to last till Saturday because this thing is going to slow down. I mean, the center of the upper low is still over Minnesota, where parts of the upper Midwest continue to have blizzard warnings. That's got to catch up to the front before everything kicks out. Meantime, heavy rain up the I-95 corridor, Baltimore, through Philadelphia, up through Trenton, New York, and New Haven. Maybe even a little bit of sleet mixing in there, but the heavy snow is beginning to get heavy across northeastern Pennsylvania and upstate New York, and it will continue to be that way, I think, through tomorrow morning. The rush hour in the morning is going to be tough for just about everybody in the Northeast, and the upper low comes over top of the front over the Atlantic, and we get a little nor'easter developing. And that's going to create some wind and kind of slow things down into Saturday before things begin to slowly clear out from west to east. But it's going to drop a lot of snow. I think 6 to 12 inches of snow across much of central New York, maybe is over a foot in some of the higher elevations. And, of course, the ice will accumulate in some of the areas across Appalachia. That's going to be a problem. And these are through Saturday afternoon. I don't think we really lose the entire impacts of this storm, finally, Lindsay, until Sunday. Unbelievable.
Yeah, hopefully people will take it slow on the roadway. It's messy out there. Rob Marciano, our thanks to you. Now to the surge of viruses this winter season. Today, the White House unveiled a new COVID strategy with just 10 days until Christmas. And there's a new virus threat that's drawing some concern. ABC's Ariel Reshef has those details.
With that perfect storm of viruses straining so many hospitals across the country, the White House today unveiling its winter COVID plan.
The key is this: we don't want this winter to look like last winter or the winter before.
So the government is once again offering each household up to 4 free tests through its covidtest.gov website and telling people to get their flu and COVID shots ahead of the holidays. In San Diego County, Tristan Tamborelli was so sick with 2 strains of the flu, he had to be airlifted to the hospital. The 10-year-old, who has underlying health conditions, was put on a ventilator. 2 weeks later, he's still in the ICU.
I was scared that he wasn't going to make it.
Tristan hadn't yet received his flu shot when he got sick. His dad is urging other families to get vaccinated.
I'd hate to see anybody else have to go through this.
And tonight, the World Health Organization is tracking another threat, an uptick in rare but invasive strep A infections among children that can be life-threatening. Hospitals in at least 4 states are reporting an uptick in strep cases.
And lots of concern about that. Our thanks to Ariel. Now to the investigation into the murders of the 4 students at the University of Idaho. Officials are reviewing some grainy surveillance video of a car captured on a gas station camera racing by right around the time of the murders. It's been more than a month since those killings, and the parents of one of the victims fears that other surveillance images may have already been erased. ABC's Mola Langi has more.
Tonight, police in Idaho investigating the murders of 4 students are studying a new potential clue. This grainy image of a car from a gas station security camera at 3:45, the morning of the murders. The car, resembling one police are looking for, a white Hyundai Elantra, spotted near the crime scene. They believe occupants of that Elantra have information critical to the investigation. Police are now sorting through 22,000 registrations to find it. And today, in a new video statement, they pleaded for help from the public.
Maybe your neighbor has one in the garage that they don't drive very often. Maybe there's one that's just not on the registration database. Let us know.
Since the beginning, police have asked for surveillance video in this area near the crime scene, but the image of that white car was spotted a mile away. The parents of Kaylee Gonsalves telling Arcana Whitworth they worry critical video could be overlooked and disappear.
There's a 24-hour mark on a lot of those little video cams. There's a 7-day, a 1 month, a 1 month.
We're hitting the month. Yeah. And if the key part of the evidence is outside that residence, then we have to get it now.
Well, Lindsay, we have spoken to several businesses near the house and around town who have turned their surveillance footage over to police, Lindsay.
Mola, thank you. Dramatic images from space show a steady stream of coolant leaking out of a Russian Soyuz capsule docked with the International Space Station. Russia said that the spaceship may have been hit with a micrometeorite, but that crew members are safe and the station itself was not in any danger. The Soyuz serves as a lifeboat for the space station crew in case of an emergency, forces an evacuation. The days are short and the nights are long with sub-zero temperatures, and for hours on end, there's little to no power. This is life in Ukraine under the shadow of Russia's war there and repeated bombardment of cities and key power infrastructure. But tonight, the brave, resilient people there continue to live their lives as they hope for a better and warmer tomorrow. Inez de la Quatara files this in-depth report from Ukraine.
There's a touch of magic in this music school. As in most of Ukraine, darkness permeates its halls. Yet burning embers of hope have still found a way to shine through. 10-year-old Ruth Gorshkova uses music to help her forget about Russia's war in her country. The brutal conflict now roughly 10 months long. The only light she has to play by is from a flashlight, but she still goes to her lessons, her own small way of standing up to the Russians.
Do you want to leave?
No. With no lights, I have a light in my heart.
Winter. It is particularly brutal in Ukraine, with biting winds and sub-freezing temperatures. Russia has been weaponizing the year's coldest season, zeroing in on Ukraine's critical infrastructure over the last 2 months. Relentless missile strikes have halved the country's power capacity. Now millions of Ukrainians are experiencing shortages of power and running water, some for more than 12 hours a day. Officials say these blackouts could last until at least March. At night, buses and cars navigate dimly lit streets, and customers must shop with only the glow of their phones to guide them. Residents like Maxim Kondratovich have been forced to camp out in their own homes, boiling water with a kerosene stove, stocking up on camping equipment in preparation for longer blackouts.
You're really prepared.
Yeah, that's how we live.
So you live now,
Yeah.
Even the children of Ukraine are being tested.
We don't care
If it would take for us months, years without light, even in the middle of the winter, and it's like our spirit to continue to go on, and it's like our sacrifice.
Aid groups are scrambling to provide blankets, generators, and medical supplies, with reports of surgeries being done in the dark.
This right here is the new front in this war. These crews working overtime to keep the power going through winter, and over here, their truck even struck by bullets.
One person died, 2 more were injured, the equipment burned down. But you see, our work was risky even before the war. We work as we have been working before dealing with emergencies, but that was for the short time, and now it is every day.
The lack of heat, power, and water has led Ukrainian officials to urge evacuations in the southern Kherson and Mykolaiv regions. Teams of volunteers urgently working to get the elderly and disabled to safety. 72-year-old Larissa lives with the constant sound of shelling. She pays little attention, instead focusing on her garden. But with the looming threat of airstrikes and further power outages, she's decided she can no longer hold out. Larissa evacuating her home of 25 years, but it's not the furniture pieces or memories she's leaving behind that seem to pain her most. After volunteers help her into this white passenger van, she and 2 others will soon be taken to a waiting train bound away from the horror of falling bombs, but also far from the comfort of home. For the ones that do stay, it is critical that aid gets in.
We go with the social workers and bring them this food basket.
So today there's 15 people total that you're going to see.
Yeah.
And every day it's different numbers.
Yeah.
We follow them to see 67-year-old Ludmila and her 90-year-old mother, Isabella, who are dependent on these deliveries to survive.
It's scary, terrifying, especially for my mother. It's the second war she's living through.
But even in the darkest of days, Ukrainians still remain defiant. Valentina is a former teacher determined to stay put for as long as possible, singing to keep her hopes up.
The simple truth about the love she brings to me, where do I start? I love to sing very much.
She still goes about her daily life, cooking and listening to the radio, but she's always aware of just how dangerous her situation is. She keeps a bag packed with essentials, a passport, her valuables, gauze, and her favorite poem.
What should I do? I will be sitting, yes, and crying, yes. No, I will be fighting.
Even though Ukraine may be in the middle of a seemingly never-ending winter of darkness, no war can extinguish the fire burning deep inside the resilient people here who bravely push on, hoping brighter days will return. Famous Ukrainian poet Lesia Ukrainka wrote, "I am alive, I'll live eternally, I have that in my heart which cannot die."
Such a fighting spirit and lots of resilience there, thanks to Inez. Still to come, why the company that owns Facebook is now accused of inflaming a civil war. What investigative reporter says he's revealed about an alleged secret culture at one of the biggest consulting firms in the world. This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers
in Putin's Russia.
On the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.
Here at the White House.
Destructive Cat 4 storm.
Here along I-5.
Boston is in the bullseye.
Let's go. We made it.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7 straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
Bring them on. If only there was a place in the morning to start my day. With a smile, somewhere to help me get in the know. A place as spectacular as, well, me.
I think we might know a place, right, guys?
Bring your friends. Oh, wait, there is.
Good morning, America.
GMA, 7A, every day. Boom. Boom! Boom! Good morning, Michael.
Good morning, Robin. Good morning, America. How are you?
Boom! Now that's how you start your day, people.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you? Yes.
So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do?
Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 12 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
As of today, in a big way, we have inaugurated abcnews.com.
A lot has changed in our world since Peter made that announcement. But what hasn't changed is the commitment to groundbreaking reporting and innovation at abcnews.com. And here's to everything ahead.
Now streaming on ABC News Live 2020. True crime, cinematic, real-life drama, stunning, the unthinkable. Follow the clues, The Hunt. True crime 2020. Now streaming on ABC News Live.
Welcome back. We're tracking several headlines around the world. The royal family fallout continues. In the final parts of their Netflix series, Harry and Meghan allege that they were bullied out of the royal family because others were jealous of their popularity. They even claim William and Kate planted negative stories about them in the press, and Harry goes as far as saying that William yelled at him. Despite the explosive allegations, there's been no official comment from the palace. A lawsuit filed in Kenya is accusing Meta platforms of letting violent and hateful posts from Ethiopia flourish on Facebook, inflaming the Ethiopian civil war. The lawsuit, filed by 2 Ethiopian researchers and a Kenyan rights group, alleges that Facebook's recommendation systems amplified violent posts in Ethiopia, including several that preceded the murder of the father of one of the researchers. The case echoes accusations Meta has faced over content on its platforms related to violence elsewhere, including in Myanmar, Sri Lanka, Indonesia, and Cambodia. A Pakistani zoo celebrated the birthdays of 2 of their most respected residents, elephants Sonia and Malika. Zoo staff decorated the elephants' compounds to celebrate their birthdays and invited an entourage of school children and government officials to sing to the 16-year-old Sonia and 18-year-old Malika happy birthday. Our next guest is an investigative reporter for the New York Times and recipient of 3 Pulitzer Prizes. Walt Bogdanich's new book, When McKinsey Comes to Town, The Hidden Influence of the World's Most Powerful Consulting Firm, takes a hard look at McKinsey & Company, which generates billions in revenue consulting corporations and government entities. Bogdanich and his co-author, a fellow award-winning Times reporter, allege the firm often advises their clients at the cost of their workers and consumers. Walt, we thank you so much for joining us tonight. You and your co-author provide many examples throughout the book alleging that McKinsey & Company committed morally questionable practices. One example you write is they advised Purdue Pharma to assist in the sales of OxyContin, an effort in which McKinsey has now apologized for. And they said in a statement, "We apologize for our past work on opioids, and we're the first company to work with U.S. state attorneys general to help communities affected by the crisis." You state that their efforts in these cases have been able to evade public scrutiny. Why do you think that is?
Well, they're one of the most secretive companies in the world. I joke with my fellow reporters that they probably have more secrets than the CIA. Their entire business model is based on secrecy. They're big, they're powerful, and they're unaccountable. And that is catnip for investigative reporters who want to know what's happening. What are they doing? How are they affecting our lives? Why are they not disclosing what they're doing? Why is there not more transparency? Those are important questions because they are advising most of the major corporations in the world, most important corporations in the world, as well as governments around the world.
But they're just doing what they can do, what they're allowed to get away with, right? I mean, should there be some checks and balances put in place, would you say, by Congress?
Well, I think somebody ought to be doing some checks and balances. They shouldn't just leave it to Walt Bogdanich and Michael Forsythe, because until we came along, nobody really knew much of anything about McKinsey. And they affect our health, our jobs, our communities. And I think that's all pretty darn important, as evidenced by the Purdue Pharma. And I should add, it wasn't just Purdue Pharma that they were advising. They were advising other opioid makers. And they did more than just apologize. They had to pay more than $600 million to settle government investigations. And I guess money can buy, exemption from, government prosecution.
You write that many of McKinsey's clients go to them because of their prestige and international reputation. In another statement, McKinsey says, we now follow a global client selection policy more rigorous than any other in our industry. I'm curious, what was the initial little yarn that you decided to pull that caused you to investigate this powerful corporation?
I've been interested for a long time in income inequality. It's tearing our country apart. And I wanted to know what influence McKinsey had on corporate America that had been making a lot of the decisions that led to job loss, that led to job exports, that led to the kinds of things that have helped destroy, to put it perhaps a little too strongly, the middle class. And the middle class is important in a country like ours and a democracy.
In another example, you allege that McKinsey and Company were not only advising the Pentagon and receiving hundreds of millions of dollars from the Defense Department, but at the same time were advising China Communications, an engineering company that was allied with the Chinese government. McKinsey has defended their work here and says that it has extensive internal rules to prevent conflicts of interest and to protect clients' information. You disagree with that. Curious why?
Well, first, let me say that those changes that you mentioned just earlier about rigorous oversight of clients, that only happened because we were reporting about the problems that we saw in McKinsey at the New York Times, and others did that. It wasn't like they woke up one morning and said, oh, we're going to be good corporate citizens. We had to embarrass them by our reporting, and that's what reporters do. Good reporters do. I didn't set out to cause problems for McKinsey. And just to be upfront about this, McKinsey is not evil. There are very good people who work there. They hire the best and the brightest. And I've gotten to know a lot of them.
McKinsey and Company released a statement in response to your book, and I want to quote it again, saying that it fundamentally misrepresents our firm and our work. And when we have made mistakes, we acknowledge them and made changes. Further pushing back against your book, writing, it does not make clear to readers that virtually all the events they describe took place years and sometimes decades before our firm implemented its new client service policy. I know you just said that they didn't make some of these changes until they were basically shamed into it, but curious to get your response to their response.
Well, I think it's important to point out that the managing partner who led the fight for these changes was voted out of office. And in an extraordinary development, he only served one term. And by doing a lot of these things, he apparently angered a lot of the partners who vote on the managing partner. So the guy who wanted the changes was basically thrown out. And I guess that kind of speaks to the question that you're asking.
Walt Bogdanich, we thank you so much for your time. When McKinsey Comes to Town is now available wherever books are sold. And still to come, they shared their fertility journey with millions of people online and also on our show. And 1 year later, they have a lot to celebrate in this week's TikTok.
Nightmare.
So what went wrong?
Everything. When you hear the name Ye or Kanye West, how do you guys react? Is Ye an anti-Semite?
Nobody crawls into a barrel and shoots themselves in the head. That's a mob hit.
I wanted a little cushion for the cushion. If you get queasy, close your eyes right now.
Catch the holiday Impact by Nightline binge block, streaming on ABC News Live and stream anytime on Hulu. With so much at stake, so much on the line, more Americans turn here than any place else. ABC News World News Tonight with David Muir, America's #1 most watched newscast, now streaming on ABC News Live. After an extraordinary news-making year, thank you for making ABC's This Week America's #1 news and politics show on Sunday mornings.
Zoo! 200! Oh, 200.
200 episodes of Dr. Pol. Music to my ears.
It's been 10 years, and I'm still having fun.
That rocks. He's got the moves that make your animals groove.
Now we do the dance of joy. Yay!
He's like the Justin Bieber of the
Headlining the hottest barns.
Shout out.
It's a show you won't want to miss.
I'm not going to be here forever. Maybe.
The Incredible Dr. Pole. New episodes Saturdays at 9 on Nat Geo Wild.
Welcome back, everyone. We turn now to our weekly segment, TikTok, where we take a closer look at the story behind the sensation. You might remember our next guest. We love them so much. We have them back again. Tom and Rachel Sullivan, who joined our show last year after becoming viral stars for serving weekly home-cooked meals for hundreds of college students and sharing their fertility journey. Let's take it back to 2021.
Good luck with the baby making as well, Rachel and Tom Sullivan.
Joining us now, Tom and Rachel Sullivan. Welcome back to the show, guys.
Thank you for having us back.
So, Rachel, last time you were here, I was wishing you luck on expanding your family. Some updates that you want to share?
I think we were actually 4 weeks pregnant last time we were on the show. We brought in Sutton, our baby girl.
She turns 5 months on Christmas.
Yes!
Super exciting. You know what? When I was doing the math and I was like, well, this is a year ago and they already have the baby. Yeah, that baby was already in the works. When we talked to them.
We were all smiles.
It was so hard to keep it in.
I bet. Now it all makes sense. So you guys just exuded joy then and still now. Tom, you have a series where you match your outfits with baby Sutton. What's it been like being a girl dad?
It's been amazing. I feel like that's our bonding time. I get to pick out the outfits and match, and it's, I mean, everything people tell you, it's that and more.
They match every single day.
Every day.
It's not just for the internet. Like,
so does she have a blue and green plaid shirt on right now and a hat to the back?
She has a blue jumpsuit on right now, actually, a tracksuit, like waffle.
After sharing stories of fertilities with your viewers, how do you now share and transition to sharing your journey as parents?
I think we just want to keep showing the joy. We obviously worked hard and wanted this really bad, and she's been so amazing. So I feel like sharing that joy and what she brings us is helping inspire others and just continue to share our lives and what we do.
So sweet and special. You guys make meals for nearby college students who are away from their own families. How much has this whole operation grown since it began?
Oh, so last video, I think we said we had around 500 local students. We're over 2,000 local students now, which is crazy. We just had a meal last week to celebrate the holidays, and we had about 140 come through by the time that we had to send out a text that we were out of food.
Yeah, we're still doing them, and they're awesome.
And this all started out with Kevin, the college student, the first student that you ever welcomed in for meals. How is he? Do you ever get a chance to still see him and feed him?
Oh, yeah. Kevin's over weekly. We're actually doing Santa pictures with him next week. Him, Sutton. It's going to be cute.
He's taken on the role of Big Brother very seriously.
And your account started with Tom secretly making these friendly meals to help you with a condition that some women deal with, known as PCOS. Now you have a cookbook especially for women who have that. Give us a sense of some of the recipes that you have in there, Tom.
Yeah, it's wild because we got the book deal the same day we found out we were pregnant. And it talks a lot about lifestyle, the issues we came across, how to live that way on the road, the holidays, as well as just some of our favorite recipes that all have stories of why they're our favorite and why it's significant to us.
Yeah, and I think too, it's like PCOS was our story, but I think this is going to benefit a lot of women who are going through a hormone imbalance, and that can show up in, like for me, it was missed ovulation, but other women could have hormonal acne or really bad cramps or like missed periods.
So a lot of us and a lot of also the doctor side and deep dive into it. So a little bit of everything.
Well, is this Sutton's first Christmas?
Yes.
Yes.
Very exciting
and the ship
time.
presents, absolutely. We were like, we're not gonna, but we did.
Super fun, guys. Happy holidays to you. Tom, Rachel, always a pleasure having you on the show. And want to let our viewers know you can pre-order their book, Meals She Eats, now.
Happy holidays, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. And that's our show for tonight. Be sure to stay tuned to ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. I'm Lindsay Davis. Thank you so much for streaming with us. Have a great night.